Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, October 11th. Skipped yesterday. After work, I played D&D with my buddies, and it went late. So it took us longer than usual to even get started, and then session ran over by almost an hour. So I was like, we need to, we're in the middle of a combat still. I'm like, we need to split this combat, because I'm like, we're going at towards 3 hours. We got all pictures and everything, and I'll have to set it back up for next time before everyone arrives. But it's like we'll document it. It'll be fine. Today I did, I worked late for the helping the training team out, which means by the time I get off work, 6:30, the sun is setting, which sucks. And I was thinking, okay, short evening, I'll watch one of those last couple of movies that I don't really care about. It's on the shelf that I'm trying to finish, and that was my thought. But I'm not feeling great. Feeling kind of down the last, week-ish. And it probably is because of that, because of the time change. Because it's getting darker earlier. It's just whatever, since around the start of the pandemic, where I stayed home so long, and I got used to having the curtains open for the first time in my life. Growing up, I'd have a room and I'd put I'd put shelves in front of the window because I didn't care, or I lived in the basement because I didn't need any sunlight. But working from home, being at home all the time, I got to the point where it's like, oh, I need to open this up and see the light. And since getting used to that, when the times change and start losing that sunlight, I start getting down in the dumps. So I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie that I don't think I'm gonna enjoy because I'm already not feeling great. I want to watch something that I think I'm really going to enjoy, and as such, I want to continue Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm almost through Phase 1. I watched Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor. There's only 2 more movies left in this. And the penultimate movie for the Phase 1 set is Captain America, the first Avenger. Great title, by the way. Not like, oh, such a great title. But as far as them trying to set up for the Avengers, they're trying to pull this together and make this whole big thing where you're going to see, oh, this is a big deal. This is all coming together. And knowing, oh, we're going towards the Avengers. Having the word Avenger in the previous film's title, smart. So, I've never seen Captain America, any of the Captain America movies. I only know him from the Avengers movies and his presence there. But since seeing the first Avenger movie, I was like, I would like the Captain America movies. He's a good old boy. He seems like a good person. And as such, it follows that I would probably enjoy the movie. Now, obviously, he is our hero that's out of time. He's from the past. World War II, I think. And as such, I'm thinking at least I'm guessing a significant part of this movie takes place in the past. So, that'd be interesting. I like period movies. I'm just thinking that. It's like, period movies are cool. I like that. So this could be really fun. Now, I don't know if it's the whole movie. Maybe, the post-credit scene might be the only one that's not in the past. Who knows? Or maybe we sit and it's a flashback story, of him telling his tale, like Rose does in Titanic. I don't know. I literally am going into it with no idea. Is there any present day? I assume there's at least, like, at the very least, like, the post-credit scene is going to be present day. Well, whatever. The day present with the other Marvel movies. Because I'm figuring they're at least going to have that to set up towards the following movie. But I don't really know even that for sure, or if it's more than that. I'm interested. I think it's going to be cool. I think I'm going to like the character. I'm going to like seeing a period film. See where this guy came from. So I'm gonna settle in and watch Captain America, the first Avenger. And I would give Captain America, the first Avenger, an 8.4 out of 10. Even if it did do the same thing as Thor and wait until the end credits to give the title card. Anyways, from Wikipedia. Again, still no back of box descriptions with these boxes. In 1943, Steve Rogers is deemed physically unfit to enlist in the U.S. Army and fight the German Reich in World War II. Recruited for a secret military operation, he is physically transformed into a super soldier dubbed Captain America and must battle the Red Skull, head of a Nazi science division known as Hydra. First, this movie sorely misused, underused David Bradley and Jenna Coleman. David Bradley plays this guy watching over whatever, some Norse temple that the Tesseract begins hidden in at the beginning of the movie when Hugo Weaving, Red Skull, comes in and takes it, the power of the gods. And that scene would have been totally confusing to me had I not just watched Thor. But I got it. Who knows, maybe he becomes a relevant character in some later Thor movie. In which case, I take that back. If they manage to use him there, wonderful. They're setting him up here. That's fine. Likewise, Jenna Coleman plays one of the girls on a double date of Bucky and Steve. Steve's not really into being on at the beginning of the movie. And again, wonderful. Quality actress with this itty-bitty part. Perhaps she's relevant in some future Captain America movie that involves Bucky again. She goes out with him again, maybe something like that. Great. But at this point, looks like they're just really underusing that character. I was first concerned that they were doing the same thing. When I saw Hugo Weaving, I kind of got the feeling like from like the line on his side, like, okay, he's a relevant character. Tommy Lee Jones walked in. I was like, is he just going to be a throwaway general character? But he played at least a significant role in this movie. Sad that he's a character that probably won't be seen in any. That this is going to be the only movie. Because, of course, with it being set mostly in the past, all of the characters that we see aren't likely to show up again in any present-day adaptations, locations, situations, sequels, whatever. So, that's whenever there's like, oh, that's a great actor. But at least Hugo Weaving and Tommy Lee Jones were primary characters within this movie and did great. The post-credit scene was really just a trailer for the Avengers. Whatever. The movie, however, did begin and end modern day. Which is great. They began it, they're discovering this crashed ship, airplane, whatever. And we uncover the shield, and they're like, oh, call the boss, whatever. And then we flash back and begin our story. But that's great, because that means when that ship shows up later, all of a sudden we know something's going down. And then when Steve, like, loses his shield on it and goes out flying, we're like, oh, maybe not what we thought. Maybe Steve isn't on there. But then he gets back onto it and grabs his shield. Because it's like, because all we saw in the beginning was the shield. Anyway, so it just kept you thinking, oh, what's going to happen? It dragged, it was great. Having that scene from the beginning of the movie really helped the climax of the film. Anyways, so after that, we go to our, 1943 week Steve Rogers, which is great. I'm assuming it's like, what, CGI of putting Chris Evans' head on some skinny dude's body. That's my assumption for how that must have been done. But that's a big, a sizable chunk of movie to do all that CGI on it, and it's good. But that was just because they really show off how scrawny he is, so that it really means something when you see that he's this bulked out dude. But yeah, he's a little guy who has a good heart and courage, wants to do what's right for his country, wants to help. And he gets chosen for Super Soldier program. As that goes off, the guy that developed the program is shot, and the spy runs away, and Steve chases after him, catches up to him, using all of his newfound powers. He's still finding him, really. But the program can't continue without that individual, so they can't just make a massive number of those super soldiers. They got one. Well, we can put you in a lab, and maybe by the next war we'll have backtracked this serum and managed to do it, have super soldiers then. Or you could help sell bail bonds. And he goes on a tour of stage performance, being dubbed Captain America, as he sells bail bonds. And he does good. He does good for the country in notable numbers that where he goes, more money is raised to help the cause. All along here, he's crushing on the girl, Carter, as she is with the military, and she's part of what recruited it, as he was getting trained, recruiting. So at a certain point, he finds himself at sort of a USO show where he's out helping entertain troops, and they're all like, he's going with this troop of dancing girls, and they're all like, go away, we don't care about you, scrub, bring back the girls. He's not the primary, he's not the entertainment they're looking for. But Carter's there. She encourages him that he's meant for more than this, and happens to give information that lets him know that his buddy, Bucky, got lost from this division here recently. And he sees, okay, so here's where they're lost. They're held behind enemy lines. He's most likely dead. So Steve says he's just gonna go, and Peggy stops him. It's like, I can do one better. And with the partner, Howard Stark, who's shown up a couple times. He was involved with making the super soldier thing, helps fly him out to go try and do this one-man rescue mission. And I will say, Howard Stark plays a real relevant role throughout this movie, and that's great. That was a thing I did not know was going to be a thing. That's awesome. That really helps tie it back. And I think of things like I can't remember any scenes between Steve And Tony, where he talks to him about knowing his father. But I bet they were there, and I just didn't know the relevance of them because I didn't know the characters well enough yet. Because I just sat down for Avengers as the start of my movie journey. So that's making it where I'm looking forward to seeing the next movie, to see what that... When he hears, "You're a Stark, I know your dad." Because that's going to have meaning. That it didn't the first time I watched it, but will now. Anyways, he jumps down, he rescues this whole troop of guys, including his buddy. Bucky is saved. They fight their way out, devastate this Hydra base, and they march back. And now all of a sudden these soldiers that were like, "Get out of here, you scrub," are like, "You're a hero. You just look at all this." And so, instead of being some sort of guy parading along stage, he's brought in to the military to arrange a small group to go hunt down these Hydra bases. They're Nazi science bases, but really at this point, Red Skull has decided he's turning against the Nazis. He's his own force. He's better than them. They're his enemies too. So Steve recruits from the group that he just broke out, that helped him with blowing up that base and marching their way back. They have a bit of a personal vendetta against Hydra, and he's seen them in action, including his buddy Bucky. And anyway, so they have some success. Red Skull's getting all mad. And they go after Red Skull's chief science dude on a train. And Bucky falls down a gorge and dies. You don't see a body, but there's no way he could survive that. But he's the Winter Soldier. I know he comes back. What happens? Don't tell me. I'll get there. But it's like, how did he live? What happens? What's the whole story here? Like I don't know. I don't know what the relationship between Steve and Bucky is like. I know, I've seen it, and, clearly they're friends. And, I've seen it, and they're clearly, at times, confrontational. And I don't know. Anyway, so it's wild. Anyways, get information from the scientists, go after the final base, tracking down Red Skull. 3 different squadrons, him, his team, and then general armed forces. They chase down the plane that we saw crashed in the ice in the beginning. Steve gets on it, has some fight with some goons, little airplay, when he's out in this weird airplane thing. Crashes back into the ship, fights Red Skull, uses his vibranium shield, which he got from Howard Stark. And damages or bumps the Tesseract, which Red Skull grabs, and it destroys him and melts through the ship. Don't worry, Howard Stark recovers it later. And Steve has a scene that brought me to tears, where he realizes that this ship is locked onto New York, and he has limited control to change it. He cannot change the destination. He can change the elevation. So he can bring it down. He has a call. He calls back to the base. And he gets to talk to Peggy. And I can see this scene in my mind. I guess is it Endgame? I don't know. But of him going to some tavern and dancing with Peggy. So I know he gets the date that he sets up with her, but all that he has to go through to get it. And I love him. I love him and his heart. And like I said, he's a good old boy. He's just... I care for his character. And at this movie's end, we jump. He crashes. Howard Stark recovers the Tesseract, but that's where the energy like he traced down an energy signal to try and find him, but the Tesseract fell out before the ship crashed. So he found the Tesseract, but not the crashed ship. It's not until the future, which we began our movie with, that they found that crashed ship. So he wakes up, and he's in this little room, and you hear an old-timey baseball game on an old-timey radio. Some old-timey nurse walks in, and he's just like, where am I? No, where am I really? That's a lie. I know that game. I was at that game that you were playing. This is false. Who are you? Like, he's thinking he's in some enemy base, and he smashes through the wall of a set, out some office, and into the streets of modern-day New York. Well, your billboards for Bank of America and for Phantom of the Opera, and I mean, I say modern day New York, it's whenever the movie was made. 2011, 2012. Just all those billboards. And he's surrounded, and his cars all pull up around him, all these agents step out. So does Samuel L. Jackson. He apologizes. You know, S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't want, they wanted to break it to him, easy, but he was too clever. He's been asleep for 70 years. And you know what that boy says? That he had a date. Because he let down Peggy. And that's what's on his mind. He did get to kiss her before jumping on that airplane. They at least got that. Anyways. I mean, a lot of the stuff, the period film wasn't too period because, like, Hydra has all this, like, super high-tech alien-fueled technology. But, the chase scene through New York City, when he's running after the guy that shot the scientist that made the super soldier serum, that was great. That was running just a chase scene through old-timey New York. And a lot of, like, the military, like the war room, and even just, like, the camps were great. Just the sets and the set design for that, 40s feel of just, like, soldiers. It was all great. I like period films, and this was great. It did not disappoint. And it had all the superheroes. He felt like a superhero. It's a war movie for a lot of it. It's a war movie. But he, being in the costume, feels like a superhero getting involved in the war. Because he's a costumed Avenger. I had fun. It's a good movie. I look forward to seeing more. Like, at this point, I'm looking forward to just seeing the Avengers and connecting some dots that I missed before. Yeah. Going into it with more information. Because I haven't seen Avengers since it was in theaters. And when I did, I hadn't seen any of the previous movies. Even going into it, like at the beginning I said I'd seen Iron Man. I saw Iron Man after seeing Avengers. So I didn't have any of those connections. So that'll be fun. But that'll be another night. Tonight was Captain America. It was good. Okay. It was late when I started because I got off work late. So it's 2 minutes till bedtime. So I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for joining me. Join me as my journey continues.